Well, look, I think it's a mild virus. I think that, as you hinted before I came on, we don't know how it's going to be hyped yet. We don't know what the administration's going to do to hype it. I think it's a mild virus, but I do think it's made its way around the world, and I think we have to pay particular attention to it. I don't think we can ignore it, but the hysteria is totally ridiculous. I think we need a vaccine to it, but the vaccine that is problematic, because in 1976, we had what we thought was a swine flu epidemic, which was completely fabricated, it turned out, and we ended up with close to 1,000 cases of ascending paralysis as a result. That could happen again, but I don't want to use fear of the vaccine to replace fear of the virus. I don't like fear in general. I've written books on this. And
but Doctor, we got 30 seconds. My issue here is that internal CDC, they're saying, I mean, were you aware of this? It's not in our news.
I'm aware of it.
Oh, you are aware?
I'm aware of it, but I don't know to the extent to which it's a problem versus 76. In other words, it remains to be seen how significant a side effect this is. Before I go and tell people, be afraid of this vaccine, I want to see more about what a risk this really is.
Exactly, but they're keeping it secret, so shouldn't that be public? Shouldn't there be a big debate about this?
There should be a big debate about this, but I'm telling you right now, I'm always on the side of the facts, and I want to cose by saying I think the vaccine is going to be safe.
DrSiegel.com. Doc, thanks for talking to us.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime.
You bet. Folks, I'm going to be live this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. here in this very studio. Also simulcasting at prisonplanet.tv. I want to thank all the members that have made the show possible. I mean, how could that last doctor, who's a nice guy, and it speaks out more than most against the system, calling it eugenics, say, yeah, I know it's killing some people, but, you know, we got to see if this is, I forget his exact quote, you know, an acceptable level of side effects. Because, you know, that's what they do. They triage. They say, well, if this vaccine saves 10,000 people, but it kills 1,000, you know, it's okay. That's kind of the medical idea. I'm not saying Siegel's saying that, but it's in the same general idea and area. They know it doesn't protect you from the flu. They know it's already mutated. That you know their history of adding stuff to it. You've got to admit what this medical system's doing, hyping this flu that's killed almost nobody up like it's the end of the world. This is a big deal. We're going to expose it with the contest. Ron Paul is coming up, and then the rebroadcast starts, and I'll be back next, well, this Sunday live. I want to thank the crew. In fact, guys, make sure I'm supposed to, during the break, call that other TV reporter. So, and when Dew gets back, make sure, I'm having to give orders right now because I've got a bunch of stuff coming up. My mind starts racing with all the different things we do. Make sure we go ahead and give the Fox News reporter that young man's phone number that put the posters up so they can get the facts straight in the Fox News story. So that's happening too. I wanted to thank a few of the sponsors that I haven't really gotten to today before we go into this Ron Paul interview that's coming up, because it is the sponsors that make this radio show possible. MySolarBackup.com. A lot of things can cut off your electrical power, hurricanes, snow, and ice storms. Listeners should move towards getting off the grid, and here's a good way to do just that. A solar power generator is now available from our good and wonderful longtime sponsor, Solution from Science. The website's MySolarBackup.com. That's MySolarBackup.com. They have the Power Source 1,800-watt generator and high-efficiency solar panel designed to provide endless electricity. Remember, too, that gas generators need gas, but in a blackout, gas pumps can't pump gas because they run on electricity. It's the perfect emergency backup for troubled times. The government doesn't own the sun yet, folks, so make your move today. MySolarBackup.com or 877-327-0365. And lastly, before I had a few other little pieces of news here and go to the Ron Paul interview, I want to thank the great folks at Front Sight. This is the premier national shooting training center that's got 4- and 5-day courses, no drill instructor attitude, great for the whole family. They have a lot of free stuff online as well, a great free newsletter, frontsight.com, and they're giving a free XD pistol in the caliber of your choice when you sign up for the 5-day world-class gun training at Front Sight Firearms Training Institute, and also get the 30 state concealed weapons permit, all for pennies on the dollar. So the website's frontsight.com. Take advantage of that today at frontsight.com. I didn't plug really any sponsors till late last hour, and wanted to get those in and thank them because they make the show possible. And I also want to thank everybody out there that is making copies of my films and getting them out to people. Everybody out there that's spreading the word about the radio show, the free podcast, that you can go to the listen page at the top of Infowars.com. In fact, yeah, there's the Fox News story. Felony vandalism charges possible in Obama Joker poster case. We have Joshua Miller's number from Fox. He's been calling us. We need to call him and explain this is all fraud. And the police told the young man that we know this is selective enforcement and that they don't normally go after people from this, but it's political pressure. And that Obama supporters were there snapping photos of people doing it and saying, we're going to turn you in, just like Obama told them to do on his own website. So, again, this is a big, big issue. We'll have more for you on the abbreviated Sunday show as well. In other news, the dollar is plunging. All the real economic numbers show commodities exploding because of dollar devaluation. Takes more dollars worldwide to buy those. Governments are moving away from the dollar. Unemployment skyrocketing. Every real economic indicator is we're dead meat. Meanwhile, the media is telling you the economy's great because it is for the big bankers and the billionaires and the people that control trillions. This is their big consolidation, their vertical integration. Because we're armed, they can't come in with a Soviet takeover right away, so they can economically rape us. And Obama's their front man to take the blame of that, just like Bush was involved. We have got to expose the offshore banks for stealing $23.7 trillion in the last 10 months. Hoarding that money and paying banks not to loan to the citizens to kill the economy so the banks can force a consolidation. They want a destroyed economy. Not your local bank. The big multinational king banks want to destroy the economy so they can consolidate it and vertically integrate it. I want to say great job to the crew here as well. Before I run out of time with this interview with Ron Paul, don't know if we'll have time for that coming up, and all the sponsors and affiliates. Be sure and support our local sponsors as well. We'll be right back.